Tonight's game is brought to you by Chevrolet. With the performance, the style, the innovation, the quality, and the value that make up today's Chevrolet. The Los Angeles Raiders catapulting to the top of the football world by defeating the Washington Redskins 38-9 to win their second Super Bowl within the last 4 years. The Raiders bursting through the playoffs in decisive fashion following their outstanding regular season record of 12 wins, 4 losses. For the Raiders, their third Super Bowl title. And for the Raiders, it's been a total commitment to excellence. That is the credo of the silver and black as they look to what they feel will be another season of excellence. Record a 700 pace.
Al Davis is the power source for this team, and it's remarkable what they've been able to do. In fact, over the last 8 years, 3 Super Bowl championships. And interesting, Marv, to look back to that 1963 team, the first team that he coached, the quarterback on that team was none other than Tom Flores. Flores now the head coach, and talking to him about his contribution, he says the 2 things he brings, consistency and stability. He's done a great job.
So Pat Leahy getting set. Final preseason game for both teams. The Raiders with a record of 1-2. Joe McCall letting it fly out of the end zone. And the Raiders will go to work at their 20-yard line. Frank Hawkins and Kenny King are the running backs. Marcus Allen is sitting it out because of a bruised shoulder, but he will be all right for the opener in Houston. And this is King. Run for Rowe on the stop. Now let's check out that Raider offensive alignment. Jim Plunkett, 36 years old, out of Stanford. Kenny King and Frank Hawkins are the running backs for the Raiders. Cliff Branch, 13th season, 36 years old, still has the speed. And Malcolm Barnwell on the other side. The rookie from Utah, Andy Parker, is starting at tight end. It's a 2nd and 6 for the Raiders at the 24.
I think they've asked for an equipment look at Kenny King. They're putting him on the sideline. Maybe we can take the opportunity to show you that offensive line.
And the Raider plans call for the starters to go the first half, and then Tom Flores will be shuffling. The Jets say they may play starters for 3 quarters, or what would resemble a Jet starting alignment.
Yeah, it's strictly a make-do situation for Walton and Gardy. They've really had to put things together for this one.
Jim Romano is starting at center for the Raiders. Dave Dalby, the veteran center, is out of action because of a knee strain, but he'll be set for the opener. And Plunkett throwing on 2nd down. Intended for the tight end, Andy Parker. Free safety Darrell Ray on the hit. So 3rd down play coming up. There's left tackle Bruce Davis, 14th season out of UCLA. Charlie Hanna at the left guard. And Romano replacing Dave Dalby at center. Mickey Marvin. What a solid offensive line. And all-pro Henry Lawrence at the right tackle.
As always, they're big and they're mean.
It is a 3rd and 6 for the Raiders in the sunlight here in the early evening in Los Angeles. Raiders at their 24. Penalty marker down, and a 1st down picked up by Andy Parker across the 35. Lance Mell on the stop, but a flag thrown. A 13-yard pickup if it holds. Referee Ben Dreith celebrating his 25th year and indicates the procedure against the Raiders. Down and 11. Plunkett with much time, and then hauled down. So the sack by Ron Farrow. Great guy in his 12th season, and will go down as one of the great punters in the history of this league. Davlin Mullen is the deep man and chasing it to the sideline. Interesting hop inside the 35-yard line. So Ray Guy getting the distance. 51-yard punt.
Imagine what he would have had if he'd gotten a decent roll on that ball.
And the Jets to the offense for the first field with Hector. 1st down at the 34, and Ryan will throw on 1st down. Johnny Hector, the intended receiver. Good pop by Matt Millen. The Jets last year, one of the disappointments of the NFL. That's Bobby Humphrey, the only receiver on the ball club right now who can be considered a speedster. Derek Gaffney is a sure-handed receiver. Mickey Schuler, the tight end, will also see much of the rookie from Miami, Glenn Dennison. 2nd and 10 at the 34. Just the start of things at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. And Hector stopped by Lyle Alzado. And that Jet offensive line, Reggie McElroy filling in for the injured Chris Ward. The left guard is Stan Waldemore. Nice photo of Stan. Joe Fields at center. Ted Banker filling in for the injured Dan Alexander, who will be okay for the opener against the Colts. All-Pro Marvin Powell at right tackle. 3rd down and 5 at the 39. Ryan trying to run away from Howie Long, and it's ruled incomplete. Eric Gaffney not pleased about the call.
Ball bounced up into his hands. I think Gaffney putting on a little show for the cameras on that one. A good chance to see it for yourselves. Ryan gets out to the right here, feels the pressure coming. Howie Long, 75, right hot on his tail. Watch the ball delivered here, and it's low. The skip right there. You saw the ball bounce up into his hands. He says, hey, I got it. But he didn't.
And here is Ramsey punting away to Greg Pruitt, who led the NFL in punt returns and set several records in the process last year, but had difficulty, indecisive on whether to short hop it, and it cost. So the Raiders take over at the 11, a 50-yard punt by Chuck Ramsey.
Ramsey did get the bounce on that one. Gets the ball away, and it looked like it could have been construed as a roughing penalty there. Lester Hayes saying I didn't touch him, but indeed he did.
Olson, early moments first quarter, Raiders and Jets no score, and the Raiders take over at their 11-yard line. Off the play action, Plunkett with much time, and the tight end Andy Parker on the reception, short of the first down. The question mark on Parker have been his tools as a receiver, Maryland. No question about his blocking ability, and obviously the game plan is to get Parker involved.
Well, he's a young man, and there are a lot of tight ends on this Raider roster. One more as of today, although he's not officially on the roster. Todd Christensen came back in, had a conversation with Tom Flores, worked out twice today. They're going to work him out 2 times a day for a while. It's possible he'll be back in uniform for next week's opener.
2nd down and 2. And it's Hawkins. Short pickup. Ron Farrell, the rookie from Arkansas, on the tackle.
With Hawkins and Kenny King in the backfield together, you really have 2 halfbacks in there. Raiders going with a great deal of speed in their lineup, although both Hawkins and King strong enough to run those plays up the middle. A lot of people say this is the same Raider team year after year, but this Raider team in the last couple of years has had an added dimension. They have the speed to get outside, and that makes a real difference.
It's a 3rd and 1. Double tight end Parker, and now Dave Casper, who was a question mark for today in the lineup, and it will be close to the first down. Hawkins getting the call again. John Woodring on the tackle, and they are calling for the yardsticks.
Casper a question mark because of a foot injury. I talked to him yesterday about it. He said he had to protect himself, couldn't run on that foot for so long that now, although the foot is starting to heal, there are so many muscles that haven't been used that it really got sore. Al Davis said something about Casper that was interesting. He said he wished that Todd Christensen had come in and that Casper had been healthy, because he felt that the 2 of them working in tandem would have challenged each other, and it would have been very good for Todd Christensen, kind of what Jim Hart and Joe Theismann have done back in Washington. I think that's been very good for Joe.
As you mentioned, Christensen claims that He'll be ready to play next week in the opener against Houston. Can a guy just step off the street? I know he's in very fine shape, but can he walk it and play?
There he is on the sideline. I don't think so. You may be able to do it for 1 week, but your body is not ready to play, and when you have to come back each week, it gets tough.
Raiders, as you saw, short on the first down. So here is Guy. This is Davlin Mullen at the 40. Mullen tried to turn the corner, but could not. Excellent coverage by the Raiders. The rookie from Notre Dame, Stacy Corin, on the stop. A 40-yard punt by Guy, who has matched a 40 with a 50. Quarter, Jets and Raiders are scoreless, and the Jets to the offense. Back at their 39-yard line, following the 40-yard punt by Ray Guy. That's Gaffney in motion. Mike Augustiniak picks up 3 on the play. Augustiniak only played half the schedule last year because of a sprained knee, and the absence of his blocking hurt the Jet running attack. And a look at the Raider defensive alignment. Howie Long, who asked the question, would you want your daughter to marry a Raider? Reggie Kinlaw is the middle guard. Reggie had a terrific Super Bowl. And the spiritual leader of the Raiders, Lyle Alzado. 2nd and 7. And here's Hector trying to pick his way. His second effort out to the 48-yard line. Matt Millen, inside linebacker, on the tackle. Stanley Adams, first-year man from Memphis State, starting on the outside left. Here's Matt Millen, who just made the tackle. Inside man on the right is Bob Nelson, and All-Pro Rod Martin. Lester Hayes, outstanding cornerback tandem match with Mike Haynes, and the deep men are Mike Davis and Van McElroy, who last year led the Raiders with 8 interceptions and made it to the Pro Bowl. First down was picked up by Johnny Hector.
That's Mike Augustiniak on the sideline. And Augustiniak, the one thing you can't afford, you look into the history of these Jets over the past few weeks, is another injury. And Augustiniak, valuable not only for his carrying the ball, but more valuable certainly for his blocking. They're looking at his knee. Not good news.
So the Jets now go with the single deep back. That's Johnny Hector. First down at midfield, and Hector picked up 3 on the play. Johnny Hector out of Texas A&M, coming off an injury-hit rookie year, showing some flashes of excellence.
Seemed like everything he did.
Second down and 6. Halfway through the first quarter at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Off the play action. Bobby Humphrey well covered. Martin and Alzado right there.
Marv, the mark of a great defense is pursuit. And when you see that many black shirts out there around a receiver who's just taken a shot like that, you know they're a great defense. Overall defense 1983. And there are the numbers. Points scored against these Raiders, and they really did it by being very strong both against the pass and the run. But look how quickly they get to the outside. Haynes forcing the play back inside. Alzado from his defensive end position, and Martin out there very quickly.
And Pat Ryan incomplete. Mickey Schuler should have held on. And the Jets will be forced to punt. So Chuck Ramsey back at his 36-yard line. That's Greg Pruitt, who had a tough time on that first punt by Ramsey. Pruitt awaiting it at the 10. And Pruitt fumbles and just hangs on.
He's had trouble with both kicks that he's fielded. Lucky he did not touch that first punt. It might have been a turnover, and that one dropped right through his hands.
35-yard punt by Ramsey. Raiders will take over. No score. We're halfway through the first quarter.
Here, a little after that now, and that's one reason the crowd is so late too, Marv.
I thought it was the freeway problem here.
Well, that's part of it. It's rush hour.
All right, Kenny King going outside. And Mark Gastineau combining with Lance Mell to funnel him to the sideline. Pick up a 5. It'll be a second down and 5 for the Raiders.
Jets' first line defense has played well when they've been able to get them together in the ball game. But as we indicated earlier, there are a lot of them who are not able to go in this game tonight. And that's got to be a growing concern, especially being minus the help of Big Joe Klecko, all-pro at both tackle and end. And I think really the leader of this Jet defense. They really miss him out there.
Klecko with a hamstring out 3 to 5 weeks. Marty Lyons sitting it out, but he'll be ready for the opener against the Colts next week. And Plunkett throwing the middle. Intended for Malcolm Barnwell.
Malcolm Barnwell had a big week last week against Miami, and you see in that area of the field the grass has been trampled down. That's where they had the stages for the closing ceremonies of the Olympics, and you could see Malcolm Barnwell's feet go right out from underneath him as he made that cut. I think later on in the year, when this grass has grown back and this turf has softened up a little bit, you're not going to see that as often. But right now, when you look out there, that field is not in good shape. You'll get an idea of the slippage here. Watch the ball lead you right to Malcolm Barnwell, and you see Barnwell's feet going right out from underneath him.
So a 3rd down and 5 for Plunkett.
Fumble.
Looked like Plunkett was able to cover up. Jim Romano is the starting center with Dave Dalby sitting it out because of a knee strain, and it may be that Plunkett and Romano are just getting accustomed to
but Ray Guy is seeing a lot of early action here in this ball game.
And now Guy is back at his 6. And again, it's Davlin Mullen awaiting the punt. Good boot by Guy. Excellent coverage. And a penalty marker thrown down. Stacy Corn, who has been the surprise of the Raider preseason, leading the assault on Mullen, a 52-yard punt.
But for not, because one of the Raiders is out too quickly and they'll trot it back. Ray Guy will have a chance to air out another one.
Within his 1-yard line.
Saw him put his hand up. He's having a hard time seeing too.
And he scoops it up.
Oh.
Mullen at the 40 and not able to accelerate. James Davis on the coverage, and the Jets will take over. 45-yard punt by Guy, who did well to handle this snap.
Anytime you break the concentration of the kicker, you're asking for trouble. Guy does a good job of getting it up and getting it out.
Well, the Chicago Cubs still lead. Quick release by Ryan. And the completion to midfield to Derek Gaffney. Well, the Olympic champions of track and field challenge the athletes from the Soviet bloc on NBC Sports World this Sunday. Join us as Carl Lewis and Evelyn Ashford confront the East Germans and the Russians for the first time in over a year as we bring you the European track circuit from Budapest and Zurich. Also, you'll be seeing the Kart Pocono 500 featuring Indy winner Rick Mears and veteran Mario Andretti. That's all coming up Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, and viewers in Los Angeles tune in at a special time at 3 o'clock on NBC Sports World. 2nd and 2, and Hector lost on the play. Howie Long was right there. Howie Long coming off a sensational Pro Bowl season, playing all over the defensive line, but not happy in terms of his contractual situation. In fact, he points to Mark Gastineau at the kind of money that Gastineau has been earning, and says, hey, if it's Gastineau, why not me?
Well, he's making $175,000, and he took a couple of pokes at Gastineau publicly. He said, you know, they run the ball at Mark. Mark digs a hole and hides in it. Yeah. And he said, I can play the run and the pass.
It's a 3rd and 6. And down goes Ryan. Lyle Alzado with the burst for the first sack of the day for Alzado.
Well, that's an old body, but there's some young enthusiasm. He certainly did a good job of getting by there. And again, the left side of that Jets offensive line, very porous. McElroy on top of Alzado. Alzado on top of Ryan.
Getting back to Long, who feels he should be paid comparable to Gastineau. Howie says he wants to be in the same neighborhood salary-wise. He says right now he's not even on the same continent. All right, Pruitt has to backpedal for the Ramsey punt. Beautiful fake out to the 20-yard line.
And another Jet limping to the sideline. 38, George Floyd, slipped on that hard turf down there, and he's being helped to the sideline by Mark Gastineau. Boy, a devastating injury rate here in the early going.
And a penalty marker thrown, a 52-yard punt, and Pruitt returned it for 12.
Neither team really able to get anything going offensively here, as the defenses have dominated in the early going.
No score, 3:51 left in this first quarter.
Offense, ineligible man downfield, number 59, 5 yards, kick it over.
But about that,
He said he was gunning for the NFL record.
he doesn't have it, I'll tell you about that.
Kyle Clifton left too soon, so Ramsey to kick again, now back at his 20-yard line. Good punt. And here's Pruitt. Pruitt up near the 25-yard line. So a 53-yard punt, 12-yard return. There's the injured Mike Augustiniak, who sprained his knee earlier this first quarter. There's a timeout taken, no score. We'll be back in with Dick Enberg as the Raiders open against Houston.
You'll be at the Colts for the opener of the Jets in Indianapolis. That's history-making time, isn't it?
First down at the 24, and Plunkett throwing the long ball, intended for Malcolm Barnwell. Getting back to the point we were discussing, Howie Long, 5 offside penalties last week in the preseason game.
Well, I don't know what historically what the highest number is. I don't even know if they keep those stats. But in one game that the Rams played against Detroit, Bill Munson had become their quarterback, and he was calling a staggered count. We had 13 offsides penalties in the game. Deacon Jones had 9 himself. I told Tom Flores that. He says, I feel much better now.
How many did you have?
Oh, I don't remember it.
Yeah, right. Check out the record books. 2nd and 10. And it's Frank Hawkins on the slant. Big rookie 6'7" run for Rowe, making the stop.
That long pass that fell incomplete for Plunkett is still a very important play, even though it was incomplete. What the Raiders will tell you is that we're not afraid to go deep. We don't care what you do. We can get the ball deep. Now, the percentage on those long passes is not great, but it's been one of the important trademarks of this Raider team. They don't care so much about their pitching percentage. What they want to do is get the ball into the end zone. And Jim Plunkett has been one of the great ones at doing that over the years. Has not had a touchdown so far this preseason. He'd like to get one tonight.
3rd down and 9. And here is Plunkett throwing on the run. Did not look pretty and did not complete. But that is out of the Plunkett textbook. Barnwell, the intended receiver. So once again, as Lance Mel was on the coverage, once again, the Raiders forced a punt.
Another trademark of this Raider team, speedy wide receivers. Malcolm Barnwell right there, his body a little faster than his hands on that play. Plunkett, and you're absolutely right, Plunkett doesn't look pretty. He's not a great runner, although he can run effectively. He almost just shovels that ball away as Barry Bennett, number 78, takes him down, but not complete. Another kick for the Raiders. Every series so far has ended in a guy punt deep in their own territory.
Ray Guy punting for the 4th time and just did get it away. A boomer, and Mullen calls fair catch. Davlin Mullen, 2nd-year man out of Western Kentucky, calling for the fair catch. So Ray Guy airing another one out, a 47-yard punt.
Both teams lethargic so far in this game, both offensive teams. Defense is certainly a little more lively, but you expect coaches to kind of save their punches for that opening game. But at the same time, you don't want to play poorly, because that kind of sets the pattern going into the next one. You got to feel that maybe on the sideline, Walton will be saying, hey, let's get it going. Let's uncork something. Let's get moving out there.
All right, Derek Gaffney to the left, Bobby Humphrey right. The quarterback is Pat Ryan. We'll see Ken O'Brien in the 2nd half. And the spinning move by Hector out near the 30. Stanley Adams, who is rotating with Jeff Barnes at the outside linebacker position on the stop. And this is the one question mark in the Raider defensive unit, particularly with the Stork.
They miss Ted Hendricks. They surely will. And miss his leadership. He did a lot of things for them. They're very high on Stanley Adams, and of course Jeff Barnes is talented. Tonight Barnes will play on the pass downs, Adams on the rushing downs.
2nd and 6. Hector picking up 4. And it's Hector again. fumble. Raiders indicating they have recovered, and yes, they have. Raiders take over at the Jet 34, and it was Stanley Adams on the recovery.
And a good battle going on inside. An all-pro center, Joe Fields, against a very quick nose tackle, Reggie Kinlaw. The ball stacked up, and it's a second effort here as the ball carrier tried to get away, and you see the ball bouncing up out of the stack right there. A very alert play to pick it up.
So the first turnover of this first quarter. We're down to 1 minute and 49 left in the quarter with no score. There's Adams, who has spent the previous 2 years on the injury list, getting a real shot this season. This is Kenny King. Powerful run by King. Strong safety Ken Schroy on the stop.
There was a time when you'd line up against the Raider team and you knew you had to defend against the pass, short and long, but you could expect that the bulk of their running plays would be tackle to tackle. Now with King and Marcus Allen and Frank Hawkins, they can get outside, and you saw King barreling outside. And as I said, they really have two halfbacks in there with King and Hawkins in that backfield, and certainly their best back on the sideline, Marcus Allen.
2nd down and 2. Plunkett with time. Barnwell, 1st down and some more inside the 15. Greg Puddle on the tackle, a 13-yard hookup. Malcolm Barnwell in his 4th season out of Virginia Union.
One of the benefits of running a defense deep, showing him that long touchdown attempt earlier in the game, is you got to get those defensive backs thinking end zone. And when they back off and play deep, as they did on that situation, there's room for a Malcolm Barnwell to drop across the inside, get in there between the linebackers, and pick up a nice gain.
And that's the first down collected by the Raiders. 25 seconds left in the quarter. Again, much time, and Plunkett, it's picked off by Woodring. The intended receiver was Kenny King. Good hands by the middle linebacker, John Woodring.
Plunkett looking back and saying, where in the world did he come from? An excellent job of getting across and reading the play. Woodring able to go up and bat the ball with one hand. And
on the interception, so the Raiders turn it over. 16 seconds left, first quarter. And a penalty marker down.
Spike. Matt Millen in there. It just looks like a bulldog when he goes in there. If you notice, if you're a follower of this Raider team, he is thinner than he was last season, down some 10 to 15 pounds. Feels it's made him quicker, and feels that he's going to be more effective because of it.
Offside on the left tackle, Reggie McElroy.
Lots of problems on the left side of that line last year, and certainly when you have 21 sacks after 3 games, you know you've had a lot of problems in your offensive line. Not solely the responsibility of that offensive line. We can talk more about that later, but they certainly have had some breakdowns.
The rap on O'Brien has been that he's been holding the ball too long. We'll get a look at O'Brien in the second half. All right, Pat Ryan throwing way off mark, intended for Gaffney. Lester Hayes on the coverage.
One of the problems you have when you move so many non-starters and so many people into a lineup who have not had a lot of playing time is the teamwork is off. The timing is off. You can see that with this, certainly with this Jets lineup, as Ryan, who's not had a great deal of playing time with the first unit, is trying to adjust to the tempo, and they're trying to adjust to him. So far, it isn't working.
Pat Ryan, in his previous 6 years, has attempted only 86 passes and completed 48, primarily as the backup to Richard Todd and Matt Robinson. Now the completion to Kurt Sohn. Stanley Adams on the stop. Time running down in this first quarter. Kurt Sohn making it back from a knee injury. Many thought he'd never play football again. He says he has not lost any of his speed. So that a good sign for the Jets as this first quarter comes to an end. At the end of one here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, the Jets nothing, the Raiders nothing. Chuck Ramsey, no score as we get underway here, second quarter. Marv Albert, Merlin Olson, Coliseum in Los Angeles. The lights have been turned on. And Ryan going incomplete. Intended for Bobby Humphrey. Mike Haynes on the coverage.
Just really not a lot happening, as you said, Marv, offensively. And Ryan getting the ball off there, and he's got a good arm. He's got a strong arm. I talked to him earlier, talked to Ryan. You know, one of the things that impressed me was his attitude. He said, look, they decided to put O'Brien in there. He said, my job is to do the best I can. And he is really helped by not being a problem. Could have really been a thorn in the side of that Jet organization.
And Chuck Ramsey punting for the 4th time. This is Clee Montgomery at the 40. Tripped up. Gets near the 45-yard line. Clee Montgomery in his 5th year out of Abilene Christian. Short return off the 40-yard punt. Timeout called. We'll be back. And good bad start, bench, then reclaimed the job when Mark Wilson suffered a broken shoulder, and Plunkett then finished in brilliant fashion, going on to win his 2nd Super Bowl title. On 1st down, penalty flag thrown as Plunkett is brought down by Mark Gastineau, but flag, as you see, on the play.
You see a holding call when we've seen it thrown that way. 2 new guards, Marsh and Mosbar, in the game, and those who watch NFL talent really drool when they look at this Raiders offensive line. Shelby Jordan, Steve Sylvester, the backup tackles.
Decline a penalty. 2nd down.
Romano holds up his hand for he's actually calling for a huddle, but as they called his name, looked like he said, yeah, it was me. But certainly that's been one of the banes of this preseason for this Raider offensive line. They've had an awful lot of holding calls as well as some alignment calls.
You know, you look at the talent, though, on that offensive line, and their 2nd unit would be better than many teams.
You really could start them in place of several lines in the NFL.
2nd and 16. Look at the time, and Plunkett pops it down for Branch, and it's broken up. Johnny Lynn, right cornerback, and Darrell Ray, the free safety, on the coverage.
Johnny Lynn is a young man who's playing excellent football right now and does a good job here on Branch. Looked like Branch quit on that pass a little bit. But Johnny Lynn did not quit. He stayed right on top of it, got up and knocked it down. Lynn has excellent speed, able to get downfield very well, and they're hoping he's going to be the man that starts to come up with the big plays out of that secondary. Darrell Ray did that for several seasons, did not do it last year. In fact, they weren't getting the big plays out of that secondary. They're hoping Johnny Lynn can do it for them.
And the Jets with high hopes for the #1 draft pick. Russell Carter is yet to play in preseason because of a series of injuries. And again, flag down.
I asked some of the Jets about Russell Carter. I said, is he going to be a player? And they said, we don't know. We haven't seen him yet. Tragic for a young man who
Ball start, number 79, offense.
a lot of sloppiness on the field, a lot of sloppiness offensively.
And the left tackle, Bruce Davis, called on the penalty. We are just underway, 2nd quarter. Jets and Raiders are scoreless. And the Jets now, rather the Raiders with a 3rd down and 21.
Oh, come on,
Yes,
Malcolm Barnwell on the reception.
Bobby Jackson arguing on that because the receiver did not come down in bounds, but he was pushed.
All right, let's take a look.
A look from our Sky Cam, a camera that we're giving you a look from here this evening. A position directly behind the quarterback. Watch him. He looks left. He finally unloads the ball to his right. From this angle, you can see the bump right there. Another angle. This will be easier for you to see. Now, the ruling is that if Jackson had not bumped Barnwell, his feet would have come down in bounds.
23-yard pass play, and Plunkett completes to King. Eddie King near the 1st down marker. Incidentally, the Sky Cam making its NBC network debut. It is a flying, computerized, controlled camera that can sweep through the entire stadium. And here's another look.
Chance for you to see it. A little fly out here. Watch Kenny King now, just making a swing right over here into the inside. Plunkett will try and look everyone off and get them going in another direction. King goes out to the side, slides over into an open territory right there, able to stay in front of the linebackers, pick up a nice gain.
2nd and 1 for King. Close to the first down marker. Kenny King and Frank Hawkins starting in the Raider backfield. Marcus Allen sitting it out because of the bruised shoulder, but he will be okay for the opener in Houston next week. So King short of the first down. It is 3rd and less than a yard.
Short yardage troops into the game. 31, Derek Jensen is usually a wing tight end, as they put 3 tight ends into the ball game in this situation. Moving from the left side over to the right side.
Jensen with Casper and Parker. And Hawkins rolling for the first down. Gastineau on the stop.
We've not heard Gastineau's name many times tonight. He and Henry Lawrence traditionally have a fine battle going on the side of the line where they face off. And I got to wonder if maybe Lawrence might not reach around and take a hold of those long locks sticking out from underneath Gastineau's helmet.
I was reading that Gastineau has promised a different type of celebration on the sack.
He's got to get a sack to do it.
That's true. When the sack does take place, a martial arts salute. Since the usual celebration now is outlawed. Reverse Cliff Branch to the 28-yard line. Lance Bell was able to read it, so a 6-yard advance.
Chance to climb down on the field, put on your helmet. You could be part of the action. Little fake right there to Pruitt, and Branch showing his speed as he comes around to take that ball. Good reaction by the Jets as they get over to make this stop. Not a big gain. 2nd, 3.5 yards to go.
And now Branch, top of your screen. Barnwell to the right. Again, Plunkett gets the time. Nice catch by Barnwell for the first down for the Raiders.
Again, dividends being paid by those deep patterns. Even though the Raiders have only hit on a few of those deep ones, they still have got those defensive backs thinking about deep patterns. And now they're working underneath. Plunkett all the way, 1 receiver. Barnwell right there. And Jackson, the man who had been burned earlier, is the man that got run off on that one.
And it's a 14-yard pass play. Malcolm Barnwell with his 3rd reception of this first half. The Raiders first down at the Jet 13. Kenny King with room, and King just shy of the goal line. A flag thrown in the Raider backfield.
And you see all the Raiders coming back. They know it's against them. That nullifies an excellent run by Kenny King. King had gotten some good help, some good blocking on the play, but did most of it. You see him.
Yes.
He said, hey, it's hard enough, guys, to get out there and get down. Why are you going to make a mistake? Take it away from me.
The preliminary call against the veteran right tackle Henry Lawrence.
That's the kind of play that really kept them from winning a game against Miami last week. It seemed like every time they got something going, they'd stop themselves with a penalty. And believe me, they were able to overcome a lot of those penalties, but it's so critical not to beat yourself.
So the holding call setting it back 1st and 20 on the 23. And here's Pruitt, but again the play stop. Another flag. And things are off.
Many felt the most effective Raider lineman prior to that. So we may see him in that starting lineup before the year is out.
This has been an intriguing drive for the Raiders. 8 plays, 3 penalties.
Let's see if they can overcome this one.
First down and 25. Off the screen, it's Hawkins. Hawkins pulling away inside the 20. Kyle Clifton, rookie from Texas Christian, had the wraps. 9-yard advance.
Little screen pass. The Raiders not trying to get all of that yardage back in one bite. They take a little piece of it at a time. And the Raiders are different than other teams in the NFL in a lot of ways. One of the ways in which they're different is that they still allow Jim Plunkett to call his own plays. He is schooled during the week by Tom Flores on different situations, but he calls his own plays in the huddle.
10 minutes left in this first half. No
Blitz.
score.
Blitz coming.
And Plunkett has it deflected, so incomplete. And the tight end Andy Parker was submarine downfield.
I've got to believe that Jets were lucky that that ball was batted away. Plunkett had plenty of time. The key to a good blitz is not to give that quarterback time. If they can pick up the blitz, and they're doing it with some interesting blocking technique there. You see Plunkett being battered around, the ball being knocked away, but there was plenty of time. You usually give him that kind of time against the blitz. He'll find that open receiver and give you trouble.
That was a Kareem-like rejection by Lance Mills.
Slapped it down.
Third down, 16 at the Jet 19. And Plunkett is sacked. So it is Ben Rudolph, as the Jets have come up with their third sack this first half.
Rudolph doing a great job. Just slapped his offensive man aside. Look on the left side of your picture here. Number 60, Kurt Marsh. Marsh called for a penalty just a moment ago. Watch this now. He just does a great inside-out fake and slaps him aside and is on top of Plunkett before Plunkett even knew what hit him. And you see Marsh in disgust reaching up to his helmet. That's one they'll watch a number of times tomorrow in the training facility.
All right, the field goal attempt, Mark Wilson will hold. It's a 47-yard attempt for Chris Barr. And it is no good. So Chris Barr, who had hit his last 3 in preseason, the last 2.
So number 6 did a great job. Barr able to still kick the ball, but it missed.
And the Jets first down from their 29. A flag is thrown. This is Johnny Hector. Penalty marker has been thrown. Hector run out by the strong safety Mike Davis, but a holding penalty will bring it right back. 28-yard run, nullified.
I think if I had been riding on the plane with Joe Walton coming out here, one of the things that I would have been hoping to see is
79.
holding on number 79, Marvin Powell. Well, let's see if we can find it for you. Marvin Powell right over here on the right side of your screen. Let's see if you can't see it for yourselves. Keep an eye on Marvin Powell now as we start the action. Powell getting a grip right there on Howie Long. The officials able to keep an eye on him. You see the good action there as Howie was driving toward the quarterback. Marvin obviously didn't want to let him have a chance at the QB. Used his hands a little bit illegally on that play. Unusual. They don't call him that often anymore.
And it's a first down. First and 20 back at the 19-yard line. And Ryan to put it up again. The tight end, Mickey Schuler. Run out by Bob Nelson. 13-yard advance. Coming up at halftime, NFL 84 with a close-up look at the Los Angeles Raiders with Bob Costas and Pete Axtell posing the question, are the Raiders now America's team? That's halftime.
Oh, my. Where are you? Oh.
In fact, we'll get a rebuttal.
Well, we might.
From a fellow by the name of Harvey Martin,
and
formerly of the Dallas Cowboys.
A few angry letters,
yes,
too, perhaps.
Who has joined the NBC football announcing staff. That'll be at halftime.
Miscommunications in the backfield. Ryan will go back and say, wait a minute. Somebody got to be here to take this football. You're not paying me to carry it. Chance to look at it. Ryan will turn around. He's looking for someone to hand off to here. Tony Page, I believe, 49, the man they expected to be there. Page ran right into Ryan. Ryan did the best thing. Just ducks back inside and dives for a couple of yards. Third and about just less than 5 yards to go. But another sign that coordination on this Jets team ways away.
Tony Page, the rookie out of Virginia Tech. Cedric Minter also in the lineup. And it's Minter stopped by McKinney, a 7-yard advance. Minter is a rookie in the NFL and has had a good camp. Had a solid career with Toronto in the Canadian Football League. Capped off his career with the winning touchdown in last year's Grey Cup championship.
Played his college football not too far from where I grew up at Boise State in Idaho. And young man has a lot of poise. He's a money player. We're very excited about him in New York, as they should be.
First down for the Jets at their 41-yard line. That's Gaffney in motion. And the completion to Gaffney. Mike Haynes on the coverage, a 9-yard pickup.
Critical timing pattern. Got to get it in the right time in the right place.
And they have called it a first down, and this is Johnny Hector. So he picked up 3.
Looking from behind the offense, Marv, a chance to get on the defensive side. I should be comfortable over there. I looked at a lot of offenses from that side of the field.
A look via the Skycam. And tonight's game is being brought to you by Renault, the one to watch for European technology and affordability. By Michelob Light, an exceptional light beer with a rich, smooth taste. And by Pennzoil Motor Oil. Quality protection, ask for it. Second down and 7. And Ryan in trouble. Off the fumble, the Raiders recover. McMillan on the recovery. Lyle Alzado with the hit.
Pass, backward pass, recovered, first down.
Well, they call it a backward pass. Of course, in that case, the ball is live. It's the same thing as a fumble. Ryan under tremendous pressure. 3 Raiders on top of him. That's 53 on top of him. Rod Martin that made the hit, and you saw the ball. He tried to throw that ball lateral. It bounced off his teammate. Of course, one of the people back there causing that havoc, Lyle Alzado.
So the Los Angeles Raiders take over on the Jet 45-yard line with just under 6 left. First half.
Long and hard this time of year because of the heat.
And the Raiders taking over as Plunkett throws on first down, intended for Barnwell. A foot race, and Malcolm Barnwell racing downfield, but the pass off the mark. 5 minutes and 51 seconds left in this first half. The Jets and the Raiders are scoreless. Final preseason game for both teams. The Jets come in at 0-3, losses to Cincinnati, walloped by Houston 36-17. Last Saturday night lost to the Giants 20-14. Raiders at 1-2 in preseason. They lost last Sunday here on NBC, beaten by the Miami Dolphins in a come from behind effort. LA beating Washington, and the Raiders also lost to San Francisco. Kenny King picking up 3 on the play. Kyle Clifton, rookie linebacker, on the stop.
Marv, if you step back to examine this ball game, the first thing that hits you is the number of penalties, the number of problems these two offenses have had. But the other thing that hits you is that, considering the shape that the Jets are in, they've got to be extremely happy to see a 0-0 game this far into the half.
Isn't really saying much, but they have to look, I guess, for some consolation. It has been a very rugged preseason for the New York Jets. And there's the flag thrown. Plunkett incomplete, intended for Barnwell. Lynn covering. Crowd reacting to number 99, Mark Gastineau.
Referee reacting, I think, perhaps to Gastineau as well. There's a flag on the ground. In fact, there's several flags down. Let's see what happened there. Gastineau got around Henry Lawrence rather quickly on that play. That battle, by the way, shapes up as an excellent one. 2 very good battles tonight.
Offense was offside, roughing the passer. On a defense, we penalized the 15 yards, and it's first down.
Well, 2 penalties on the play, and this figures in to be one of them. A little bump from the tight end. That's Parker hitting Gastineau to try and knock him off stride. It didn't help, however, as he's able to spin off Lawrence and get beyond him. And offsides called against the Raiders. But watch Gastineau at the end of the play now, right here. Ball gone. He still throws the quarterback down. Didn't really hurt Plunkett, but he has got to lay off the quarterback when that ball is delivered.
The end result, Raiders first down at the Jet 26-yard line. Kenny King and Frank Hawkins are the running backs. Plunkett with the short set, throwing long. With Branch And Johnny Lynn racing it down, and Lynn able to get a piece of it.
Johnny Lynn very fortunate on that play. He's giving it an all-out effort. But had that ball been delivered slightly sooner, it would have been a touchdown. Lynn does not know where that football is. He's driving for position, and I believe the ball goes off of his shoulder. No, actually goes off the hands of Cliff Branch. A chance for Branch to catch that ball, and he had beaten Johnny Lynn cleanly on the play. Ball a little late getting there and bounces away. Jets get a break on that one.
And it's a 2nd and 10 at the Jet 26-yard line. Here's King. Picked up a yard on the play. Kenny King in his 6th season out of Oklahoma. Lance Mel on the tackle.
Ray Lawrence, really outstanding offensive lineman on this team. Now the Raiders really kind of have a formula. They go out looking for very tall, very broad tackles in particular. Lawrence and Bruce Davis, huge. Shelby Jordan, the #1 backup at that position, 6'7", 280. And they try to get the kind of people that can intimidate you by their very size. With those black jerseys on them, they look even tougher.
Here's the 3rd down 9, and Plunkett able to complete for the small Dookie Williams on the touchdown, and that was not a well-thrown pass.
Well, it surely wasn't, but it's a touchdown. Plunkett's first of this preseason, and I think the mark of Plunkett is that he gets the job done. In the final analysis, that is the most important thing. You see, Jimmy's saying that's a lot of pressure in there, but he got his job done. He knew where Dookie Williams was going to be. Got that ball in the air, hung it out there, and Dookie, who has had a great preseason and looks to be a real talent find for these Raiders, after only catching 3 passes at UCLA, did a great job.
25-yard touchdown pass. Dookie Williams in his 2nd season out of UCLA, putting 6 on the board, and here is Chris Barr attempting the extra point. So the Raiders take a 7-0 lead on the Jets with 4 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in this first half. We'll be right back. ICAM just out of your picture to the left of your screen, setting it up for the kickoff. Dookie Williams from Jim Plunkett, 25-yard pass play. Raiders lead it 7-0. Here's the kickoff by Chris Barr, and this is Humphrey. Bobby Humphrey, 15, 20. Out to the 23-yard line, and a penalty marker is down. Kenny Hill on the tackle of Humphrey.
I can take a quick look at the way Plunkett delivered that touchdown pass to Dookie Williams. A lot of times we just get to see the receivers on these passes, and you said it very well. Looks like an awkward throw. He's under pressure from 56 Mel. He's got pressure coming from the other side. Plunkett just almost shot puts that ball out of there. But interestingly enough, right on target, right in the hands of his 3rd wide receiver. They did have 3 wide receivers in on that play, and he gets a touchdown out of it. Jimmy Plunkett may not be the prettiest quarterback in the world, but he sure gets the job done.
2 Super Bowl victories within the last 4 years for Jim Plunkett, who will play the entire first half, and the plans call for Mark Wilson to take over in the 2nd half. And off the penalty marker, they will kick again.
Marv, one of the interesting things about Plunkett, it seems like, you know, that people have said so many times his career is finished. It seems like when they do that, that's when Plunkett comes back. Of course, he came back to replace Pastorini, took his team to the Super Bowl. He came back when Mark Wilson had stepped in last year and took his team to the Super Bowl. He's an inspiration to me. He really is. And I think to a lot of people who maybe are fighting adversity, here's a guy who's had a lot of times and has come back and done a great job.
And here is Chris Barr. Now Preston Brown is back deep, along with Bobby Humphrey. And this is Brown in trouble, trying to cut back. Again, superb coverage by the Raiders. For these Raiders, 5th round draft pick a year ago out of UCLA. Again, the flags go down.
It's been that kind of an evening. You know, people say, how can Dookie Williams be that good when he only caught 3 passes in college? What happened to him in college? See the false start call. Again, problems for the Jets with their timing. But Williams had aggravated Terry Donahue, UCLA's coach, by showing more allegiance to the track program than the football program. He was really had a chance to be a world-class triple jumper, sprinter, and a lot of other things. And he wanted to work with Jim Bush, who still worked with him with the Raiders. But they didn't give him much of a chance on the football field.
McElroy called for the procedure. And here's Ryan. And Ryan completing to Tony Page. Stanley Adams.
Since he got here as a rookie.
Played hurt most of last season, although he played well. 2nd down and 7. Oh. And that intended for the tight end, Mickey Schuler. Mike Davis, the strong safety, on the coverage.
Schuler diving, almost a great catch by Schuler. Talking about Mellon, one of the things that's interesting about the Raiders, they don't mind sticking some people in there who don't fit the perceptive mold of a linebacker, for example. You look for a linebacker to be maybe 230 pounds. Mellon at times last year was 270 pounds. He's like another lineman in there, and yet does a pretty darn good job on pass coverage when he has to do it. They usually get him out of there if they can.
3rd and 7. Now the quick release by Ryan, and intended for Bobby Humphrey, and yet another flag.
Well, we got 2 flags now. And this might be another case. We saw one earlier with a 5-yard penalty and a more serious foul. Let's see what they've got going here. A holding call on the Jets, and I think maybe a personal foul down here against the Los Angeles Raiders.
Mike Haynes was covering Bobby Humphrey.
Being on the offense, 63. Defensive pass interference on
defensive pass interference, not a personal foul.
6
for Haynes' number.
Hoping he's one that will stick and eventually play a lot of football.
Filling in for the injured Dan Alexander at right guard. Ted Banker out of Southeast Missouri. And here's Ryan just getting it away, but overthrows. Intended for Hector. Howie Long with the rush.
Number 53 right there on top of him.
Chuck Ramsey to punt for the 5th time. Bankett is 1. And Clee Montgomery at the Raider 45-yard line. We're down to 2 minutes 50 seconds left in this first half. And Montgomery at the 45. Up to the 42 in Jet territory. A 32-yard punt by Ramsey. 7-yard return. And the Raiders, who lead it by the score of 7-0, will take over. Marv Albert, Merlin Olson from the Coliseum in Los Angeles on a very hot and muggy day. We'll be right back.
Here the Jets beat these Raiders 2017. Gastineau took the first fumble by Marcus Allen, took it all the way back for a TD.
This is Kenny King. Picked up a yard on the play. 2.5 left, first half. Raiders lead it 7-0. 25-yard touchdown pass from Plunkett to Dokie Williams. And the Raiders now have a 2nd and 9 at the Jet 40.
And plenty of time, 2:19 and counting down. One of the things you like to do in a preseason is try and put yourself into some of those situations you're going to get during the season. And this is one, winding down to the end of the half. And they'll try and use that clock effectively here.
King and Hawkins are the running backs. Plunkett to throw again, gets the time, and underthrew Andy Parker, the rookie tight end. Now the 2-minute warning has been provided. So the score here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, the Raiders 7, Jets nothing. The victory over the Washington Redskins. Raiders say they will not have another Super Bowl drop-off, as was the case, remember, back at '81 when they went 7-9 following the championship. They say will not be the case this season. Just under 2 minutes left, first half. Plunkett able to hang right in. Intended for Barnwell. And pass interference is called. Malcolm Barnwell was spun around by Bobby Jackson.
Barnwell very slow getting up off the ground. Jackson not up off the ground yet. Although maybe Jackson doesn't want to be seen after that play. Timing so critical for a defensive back. If he can make contact as the ball arrives, he can knock it loose. Bobby Jackson doing a good job of coverage, and you see him trying to get there just as the ball arrives, but he cannot touch that receiver before he gets there. Barnwell has gone off the field. You see him limping there, but it looks like he is not injured severely.
And it's Dokie Williams replacing Barnwell, and Dokie flanked wide left, Branch in the slot. Again, much time. Plunkett goes the middle for Williams. And let's see, do they rule it incomplete?
I believe they're calling it a completion and a fumble. That's unusual. That ball was not held for very long. Ordinarily, they'll call it an incomplete pass, but I believe the officials have ruled it complete, fumbled, and Jets ball.
So the ruling that Williams had possession, completed pass, and then it was popped out of his arm. Here's another look.
The ruling is if you can get down, get your feet on the ground, and then start moving with it. Very technical. Ordinarily, the officials are very reluctant to give away an easy fumble. And so if the ball is not held onto for a reasonable period of time, they'll call it an incomplete pass. I believe they can certainly justify a call of fumble on that play, but it's unusual anyway.
And the Jets take over at their 22 with a minute and a half remaining. In this first half, Ryan throwing at a crowd.
Bill Pickell, number 71. The tackles don't get very many chances at that football. Look at him. He's saying, hey, my chance for glory. Howie got the ball last week, went 35 for a TD. It was my chance. He's shaking his head. Pickell, you'll see him right in the center of your screen. Stunt going on right here. Ball thrown. Now he goes up. He's actually spying. In other words, he's mirroring the quarterback, looking for a scramble from the quarterback, and he got a big chance to intercept that ball.
Last week, Howie Long scoring his first ever touchdown, including high school ball. Pass intended for Hector, and a good rush by the Raiders.
I asked Howie, I said, did you run out of gas? He said, did I run out of gas? He said, I'm on the sideline after that run, and they're asking me questions, and I couldn't even talk. The other thing he told me was interesting. He said Strock was yelling at him. We went back out on the field. Shula was yelling at him. He said, hey, he didn't know those guys were so verbal.
You ever pick one off and take it the distance?
I was lucky enough to do that my rookie year. In fact, it was on a punt. Punter was trapped and threw the ball up, and I took it about 27 yards for a TD.
Third down and 10. Ryan able to duck out of trouble and overthrows Bobby Humphrey downfield, and he was double covered.
You get a feeling for the amount of speed that it...
Once again, Chuck Ramsey getting a workout from his 10, and Cleve Montgomery on the back pedal takes it at the 30. Montgomery looking to pick up a blocker and driven back within the 30. A 48-yard punt by Ramsey. And we're down to a minute and 7 remaining in this first half. And Joe Walt checking it out with an intriguing expression.
I don't blame him for looking a little troubled. His team has been literally hammered with injuries, and when you can't put your best people on the field, it's really a terrible situation for a coach. But again, he recognizes the importance of being ready for that opener in Indianapolis next week. That's a game that counts in the standings. This one does not. So he's held a lot of his people who have injuries out of this game, hoping that they will be ready to play next week.
Raiders from their 31-yard line. And Plunkett going sideline for the first down to Barnwell. So Barnwell is all right. He limped off just a couple of moments ago. 16-yard pickup on the play.
Objective right now, get the ball, get out of bounds, get the clock stopped. And what they'll try and do is get down far enough to get a shot at the field goal. Let's go and look at Jimmy Plunkett. You almost feel like you're in the defensive backfield here. Plunkett putting good zip on that football.
And first down from the 47. Plunkett continues to get the time, and Cliff Branch tried a circle route looking for the running room and lost a little yardage on it. Lance Bell on the stop, and a timeout has been called.
Conversations, and well, we're going to let you fly right with us with the Steadicam as you watch this play by Jim Plunkett, the Raiders.
Second down and 3. And Plunkett stopped by Gastineau within the grasp. So the sack is indicated. Combination of Tom Baldwin, the rookie from Tulsa. There is 95. And Mark Gastineau, and the Jets come up with their 5th sack.
And that was Gastineau's first sack, and he didn't dance, didn't give us anything on that one.
Not much to celebrate right here.
No.
38 seconds left in the half. And the short pop for Hawkins. Hawkins to the 45 in Jet territory. Met by Harry Hamilton, Penn State rookie.
Had an excellent angle to look at the little circle pattern to.
So the 4th and 1 at the 45. And they pick it up. Oh, Greg Pruitt coughs it up.
They did pick it up. Called a reception and first down, but it doesn't help because they fumbled the ball away.
So the similar call to the fumble a moment ago. Pruitt with possession. And the Jets take over. Kyle Clifton on the recovery. Clifton, the rookie from TCU, a 3rd-round draft pick of the New York Jets. And here is Ryan throwing the middle. Ryan for Hector. Bill Piquel on the stop. Picks up 11. First down for the Jets, and timeout called. Clock is stopped with 10 seconds.
Warming well here.
All right, the Jets with 10 seconds remaining. And Pat Ryan is hit down. Howie Long got a piece of him. And the clock is stopped with 6 seconds. 2nd and 21. Time running down. Ryan could not find anybody. And time runs out this first half. Bill Piquel with the big hit. And so that's the end of the first half. And the LA Raiders leading the New York Jets by the score of 7-0. So the Jet preseason problems continue, while the Raiders, in a different situation, are just looking.
Some of the action that brings those fouls to them.
So a final play for Pat Ryan. And now that will do it. So now the first half is concluded. Mickey Schuler, the intended receiver. And now at the end of the half, as you see, head coach Tom Flores heading back to the Raider clubhouse. It's the Raiders over the Jets, 7-0.
Not much for either coach to be happy about, except that the fact that the first half is over.
So we'll be back.
Professional sports. Axe.
We're not America's team, Al Davis says sarcastically. We're just the guys with the best one-loss record in football over 23 years. Davis scarcely needs to add that his Raiders are the Super Bowl champions by the biggest winning margin in the history of America's game. Why haven't the Raiders in Oakland or Los Angeles earned a special spot in America's football soul? And will they seize that role from the Cowboys now? The answers are intriguing. Sure, Davis's court battles against the league have had something to do with it. Also, our friends at CBS have long since given up on the Giants as a big market bellwether, while we here at NBC have believed too long in the Jets. But let's look at it in more lyric terms. The Cowboys wear stars, the Raiders wear black. The Cowboys play a flex defense, a limited warfare designed to win the hearts and minds of the people. The Raiders go for the bomb, thermonuclear if necessary, and they take no prisoners. The Cowboys are precision and computers. The Raiders, forearms and stick-em. A paranoid in the Raider camp, and I know a few of those, could even suggest that while Dallas stands for law and order, the Raiders make the sheriff keep toughening the laws. The Raiders invented bump and run pass defense. The Rules Committee has virtually banned it. Fred Biletnikoff and then Lester Hayes slathered on stick-em like makeup. The league banned that too, like vice officers collaring a few tarts. But the LA Renegades don't adjust to such rules, they overcome them. In doing so, they have circled the wagons in a frontier spirit. The pioneering has passed from Willie Brown to the great Lester Hayes, from Ben Davidson to today's pass rusher, Howie Long. Behind their controversies, they have maintained a unity as remarkable as their record. Like them or hate them, fans, you'll see much more of the Raiders this season. America is about to get a new standard, if not a new model. As that noted frontier judge Lester Hayes proclaims, so be it. Lester will be glad to know I'm catching up on my summer reading, and this happens to be the house organ of the NFL, Pro Magazine. And for the first time, the team that took on the league in court and beat it is featured in a glowing cover tribute. Of course, there's a little problem here. The cover subject is Todd Christensen, who's holding out. But the Raiders wouldn't have it any other way. Controversy from start to finish, right to the Super Bowl. Raiders, may the book be with you.
Ahmad Rashad over there just called for a fair catch. Acts, there are people who contend that the Raiders are so good, witness their 38-9 win over Washington in the Super Bowl, that literally their second team, especially on defense, could go to the playoffs. True or not true?
Well, in the age of parity, I think, as much as I like the Raiders, I think that would be going a little bit too far. But they do have the man at the top, and you have to remember that the only losing season they've had recently, they were 7-9, the year Davis was tied up in court and couldn't be at the practices to make sure the coaches were doing it right.
Pete Axthelm's picks, as always, will be part of our NFL 84 coverage when we begin a week from Sunday. Among the big games which you'll see, Miami and Washington from the nation's capital. And
Brown. Raiders 7. And the Jets nothing on a 25-yard pass from Jim Plunkett to Dokie Williams. Preston Brown to the 5. 15. Out to the 30, and it's Barr taking him down. He saw the opening along the sideline. A 30-yard return by Brown.
You like your kickers to be courageous. But we had a chance to watch last week as Rich Camarillo, punter for the New England Patriots, went down with an injury. And let's watch it from the sky cam. Now you'll see that Barr is the safety man. He's coming all the way from the top of your screen. There he is, right in position, doing exactly what he is expected to do. Now, had he not made that tackle, not only big yardage, but a chance perhaps to break it all away.
Pat Ryan still in at quarterback, Johnny Hector, and the rookie Tony Page, the running backs. And Ryan able to complete to Humphrey, looking for that first down marker. Spin move by Humphrey, run out by Gardner Williams from the secondary, a rookie out of St. Mary's. So a first down is picked up by the Jets. And there's Harold Carmichael making his first appearance of the game. Harold Carmichael playing for his football life tonight. He reported to the Jet camp a couple of weeks back, what with the shortage of wide receivers. Harold, one of the all-time leaders among receivers in the National Football League, and a man who holds many of the Philadelphia Eagle receiving records. He played in the second half in the preseason game last week against the Giants. 14th year out of Southern University. Kind of a rough spot for a guy who's been a star over the years, and this is it tonight.
If he does not show well tonight, he probably will not make this Jet roster. And he's in there. He's got a chance, and he said there was some rust last week. He said, I didn't get things done as well as I should. A little wood burning is what he said.
He was having trouble getting off the line of scrimmage. 6'8" Harold Carmichael. First down for the Jets at their 43-yard line. And here's Hector. Good second effort. Out to midfield. Bob Nelson on the stop. Had a chance earlier to talk with the veteran wide receiver Harold Carmichael.
I guess 11 years, and I've been, used to starting, but you come to a position where people are going to be bringing people in to take your position from you. So you have to get up for that. That's something that's been happening, like I said, for years. So, it's nothing new.
Will Harold Carmichael know when it is over?
Oh, definitely. I think I'll be the first one to know, and when I feel it's over with, I get out.
And here is Harold Carmichael, who still has not had a pass thrown to him in his brief Jet preseason career. Johnny Hector, as you saw, running for the first down, picking it up at the Raider 40-yard line. So the Jets on the move as we get underway here in this third quarter. Raiders lead it by the score of 7-0.
Jets moving the ball down the field with this first series. Look like they have a little inspiration. Quick first down. They come right back with another fine run.
Hector, 38 yards, 9 carries. And here's Ryan. Tony Page on the reception. So Page down to the 33. Darrell Burr, the inside linebacker, on the tackle, a 7-yard pass play. It'll be a 2nd down and 3. Tigers playing out in Anaheim, and no score in the first as we take a swing around the scoreboard in the American League. Toronto and Minnesota tied at 2 in the 8th. That's the first of a twilighter, and the Giants beating the Mets. Now check that 6th inning. That's the 2nd game. All right, Giants lead at 4-3. Giants won the first. Graphics too quick for play-by-play announcing. Johnny Hector with the 1st down. Darrell Bird following him out of bounds.
Right into the middle of a lot of black jerseys there. No hole in the middle of that line. You'll have a chance to watch those black jerseys close it up. You're looking now directly from above. Piquel, number 71, being double teamed there. 51 is Nelson right there, doing a good job. 98. Not Jones. Jones is 99. That's an interesting angle. Looking right straight down on the action. That's the way they draw it up on the blackboard. Mitch Willis is 98. Young man who played very little, but getting a chance to show himself here tonight.
And Pat Ryan hauled down by Bob Nelson. Sack number 5 for the Raiders.
Bob Nelson boiling in that inside linebacking position. Doing an excellent job of getting there very quickly. That's one of the problems that the Jets have had in this preseason. They're not getting the pickup of the blitzes from their young backs. And right here, somebody's got to stick around and protect the quarterback, fellas. Nelson says, hey, I got him in mind.
Los Angeles Raiders led the AFC in sacks a year ago. Started slowly in that department and then came out improving the pass rush. 3 minutes gone by, 3rd quarter. This time Ryan had time. And he is short of the 1st down. Mickey Schuler, the tight end, stopped by Tony Caldwell.
Short of the 1st down, but he definitely has position for a field goal. Field goal unit on the field. Jets will have their first opportunity here to put some points on the board.
Here's Pat Leahy attempting from 45 yards away. Pat Leahy, who had a mild battle in camp with rookie Jeff Davis. And the kick by Leahy is good. 45-yard field goal by Leahy. And the Jets do get on the board. They trail now 7-3. Well, the world's best thoroughbreds have gathered at Arlington. The combination of Dokie Williams and the rookie from the University of Pittsburgh, Joe McCall. This is McCall. Out to the 10, 20. And reaching to the 25-yard line.
Let's go back and take a look at that field goal from a very interesting angle. And you'll notice right here in the middle, it's 4-on-3. Now they're trying to pressure the Jets and drive them literally back into the flight of the ball. The Jets, of course, doing a good job in this case of holding their ground. But that's one of the many games that the Raiders and the Jets, other teams, will work on to try and block an extra point or a field goal. Try and overman the center and the 2 guards and drive them back.
Mark Wilson has come in at quarterback for this first Raiders series. In the 2nd half, Joe McCall, who just returned the kickoff for 26 yards. Carrying the football, McCall is a 3rd-round draft pick. The guy who is described as looking better on Sunday than Wednesday, in this case on Friday night. Not a practice player, Joe McCall.
Well, I would think that young man trying to make the Raider roster better to look good every day of the week.
2nd down and 6. Wilson able to stand in the pocket and has the 1st down with McCall, who is looking very good on this Friday night.
Certainly is looking good, and Wilson did a good job of standing in. He's a good quarterback. He's, you know, this one thing that's interesting about the Raider team, and basically that stems back again to Al Davis. He's a very loyal kind of an owner, and his coaches have that same kind of quality. You almost have to play yourself out of the lineup. And Plunkett has the job at quarterback, even though Mark Wilson looks good and has great potential, until he proves that he can't handle it.
And now this is Jeff McCall. No relation to Joe McCall. Jeff, a 1st-year man out of Clemson, 7th-round pick last year, but sat out the entire season because of a foot injury. I think Jeff and Joe wrote their own names with magic marker.
No,
on
I
the back.
don't think they did, but that's, you could create some real confusion. I think I just have a feeling that maybe after tonight you won't have to worry about that. That one of the McCall boys, perhaps even both, might not be around, but there is certainly a possibility that one or both could make this roster.
2nd down 7. Here is Joe McCall.
Gastineau, 99. Get the chance to call his name on that particular play. You know, there's a possibility, Marv, that they are going to have to, he and O'Brien are going to have to go back. In fact, they have to go back to court on Monday, and that trial may last into Wednesday. What a terrible break, and what horrible timing. Young man, you know, not so severe for Gastineau. He's made his mark. He has a place on the team, but O'Brien has really been hurt by that.
3rd down and 5. Wilson again with good protection. Penalty flag thrown. Parker on the reception, picking up the 1st down. 8-yard pass play, but the call against the Raiders.
That'll march it back. And again, nullifying a very successful play. And Parker has done a good job of
Number 72.
learning to use his hands in the lineup. 72. Don Mosbar is penalized on that play. We're going to see Mosbar at the center position possibly tonight a little bit.
Look at the size and height of the 2nd unit offensive line of the Raiders. Kurt Marsh, 6'5". Jim Romano at the center. He's been a starter because of the injury suffered by Dave Dalby. 6'3", 255. Don Mosbar, 6'6", 265. Shelby Jordan,
6'7".
that's 285. Very tidy 285.
Tidy 285. Davis is about that same size. He's the only starter still in there besides Romano.
And Wilson firing, and it's broken up. Intended for Clay Montgomery. Johnny Lynn on the coverage.
Big bat away by Johnny Lynn. Johnny Lynn's been stretched to the limit a couple of times tonight, and again has managed to get there in time to knock that ball away. Mark Wilson throws a very high trajectory ball, the kind you can run under. Montgomery trying to run under that one, and beautiful timing by Johnny Lynn. I don't know whether he saw that ball or not, but he sure put his hand on it. I think might have watched the receiver, and when Clee Montgomery reached for that football, Lynn's hand shot out and knocked it away.
And Ray Guy back inside his 25. That's Davlin Mullen. Mullen coming up to catch it at the 25-yard line. Saw the opening. Nice move, and then tripped up.
Good punt return. Working up the field. No chance to break outside. Making the most of what he had. Turns the ball back over to the offensive unit. Let's see what they can do. They did pretty well last time. Got down for a field goal.
However, a flag thrown again. A 37-yard punt by Guy. Mullen with a tough 10-yard return. Barnes tripped him up.
Illegal man downfield on the kicking team. Decline the penalty. 1st down the other way.
All right, so the penalty, of course, declined. And the Jets take over at their 35-yard line. 8:15 remaining. 3rd quarter. And the Raiders in front of the Jets. 7-3 final preseason game for both clubs. Jet ball at their 35. This is Johnny Hector. Stopped by Darrell Bird, 2nd-year man out of Illinois. 3-yard gain, 2nd and 7 for the Jets at their 38. Number 99, there's Sean Jones, just a kid at 21. He's considered by the coaching staff to be a project. 6'7". He came to camp at 285. They say he's down at about 271.
Just a growing boy. The Raiders love that size. Love size, speed, strength. They try and get the whole combination. He certainly has the size.
And Pat Ryan this time has the time and completes. Number 87, Kurt Sohn, with his 2nd reception of the day. Gardner Williams on the tackle.
You've got to be really excited to see a young man like this who fought so hard to come back. Doctors said maybe a 1 in 10 chance when they operated on his leg, and even as late as the minicamp, we're saying he'll never play football again. Well, here he is, not only playing, but at the receiving end of an excellent pass right there from Ryan, and doing a good job leading him down into Raider territory.
28-yard pass play, And the Jets first down at the Raider 34-yard line. That is Gaffney in motion. And Ryan again able to complete for another first down at the 13 to Gaffney. 22-yard pass play.
It's apparent that Ryan certainly has settled down here in the second half. In fact, that whole offense for the Jets operating much more efficiently here in the second half. Watch this pass. Takes a little extra time, broke the pattern out, and then upfield got in behind Lester Hayes right there. Good job.
Pat Ryan is now 13 for 22, 136 yards, but looking sharper in this third quarter. First down at the Raider 12, and the crowd urging the Raider defense on. Here is Hector. And the Raiders played it well. Otis McKinney on the stop.
Otis McKinney, one of the second group of defensive backs, usually seen on long yardage situations, getting a little extra playing time here. Burst in there very quickly. Chance to look at rushing defense. Raiders ranked 4th in the NFL behind Washington, Cincinnati, Dallas. Not too far behind at that. Anytime you're under 100 yards, you're doing a great job against the run week in and week out.
2nd and 10 at the 12. Again, the time. He had 2 possible receivers, and Carmichael not able to hang on. In fact, for a moment, it appeared Johnny Hector thought the pass was headed in his direction.
Hard for me to tell which of the receivers it really was intended for, although it was certainly more catchable for Carmichael. And indeed, I'm sure Carmichael should have had that catch. I think it is toward Carmichael. That ball, that has to be a little deceptive, though. A chance to look at it from Skycam. Carmichael right close to you there, right by the 10. Comes in and does a little in and out. The ball thrown over the top of Hector. Carmichael could not quite hang on to it.
3rd down and 10. A jump pass thrown by Ryan. Touchdown. Bobby Humphrey and Johnny Hector. And it's Hector making the catch. Tony Caldwell was covering, and Johnny Hector, the second-year man out of Texas A&M, was able to haul it in.
I don't know what kind of fire Joe Walton lit at halftime, but it certainly has caused his Jet offense to respond. Good job of concentration. That ball is up in the air. Very hard to stay with it and pull it down. Excellent job.
Jets now lead it 9-7. And Leahy with the point after. So an excellent drive engineered by Pat Ryan.
Get a chance to see it again, looking down directly from above. And a very happy Johnny Hector for 34. Now another quick
7. A good drive for the Jets within 2.5 minutes. 6 plays, 65 yards. And Sam Seal chasing it back beyond the end zone. So they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Pat Leahy not providing the kickoff return. Tonight's game is being brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Goodyear, who invites you to say hello to Vector, the new design in radial tires. And by Wagner, the right tool for painting. Marv Albert with Merlin Olson from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Mark Wilson is in at quarterback now for the Raiders. Jim Plunkett went the first half. He did throw the touchdown to Dokie Williams. Good play action by Wilson, who throws deep. Intended for Dokie Williams.
A long bomb hanging. And an interested spectator tonight, Freeman McNeil. Jets would love to have him in the ball game. He's resting his legs. He's had a strange malady. Now they call it tired leg. Now I asked him, I was down in the locker room, I said, where did you get this doctor that told you about this tired leg? I said, I'd like to have had him when I was in training camp. But he did have a problem with a long muscle that runs down all the way from the hip to close to the in the calf, and apparently he was very concerned about it. He's glad that it is just a muscle that can be stretched and relaxed and will come back.
Again, the play action. Beautiful catch by Montgomery. And it appears he recovered his fumble. Lee Montgomery hit by Bobby Jackson. And it is a 22-yard pass play.
Ball bouncing around very frequently tonight. Montgomery has lost the handle a couple of times. You saw him angry at himself there. High above, a good look at Lee Montgomery, number 28. A little too fast for Skycam there. He's running to areas between the zones right there. And that beautiful example of it. You saw the defenders each hitting their zone. Montgomery finding the open area, the seam of the zone.
Joe McCall with a beautiful move. Joe McCall caught from behind inside the 10, caught by Johnny Lynn. Joe McCall, the rookie out of Pittsburgh, may have made the ball club with that run.
He certainly showed us some impressive speed. And Marv, we talked about it a little earlier. The fact that there are youngsters who really are down to the last opportunity to show their skills. Joe McCall, starting left, breaking back against the grain. Another man we mentioned, they need the big plays from number 29, Johnny Lynn. And watch this shoestring tackle. He dives, stretches, and gets a shoestring, but it's enough.
A 50-yard run by the third-round draft pick, Joe McCall. And it's a 1st and goal at the 10. Here's Greg Pruitt. Short yardage for Pruitt. Barry Bennett, left defensive tackle, making the stop, setting the Jets defensively. Rudolph, Farreau, Bennett, Gastineau. Up front, the linebackers, Buttle, Woodring, and the rookie from Missouri, Bobby Bell, the son of Hall of Famer Bobby Bell Sr. In the secondary, Jets remaining with the starters, Jackson, Schroy, Ray, and Lynn. Jets with the 10-7 lead. Raiders, though, on the march. 2nd and goal at the 7. Wilson looking for Pruitt. Touchdown. Greg Pruitt getting behind Greg Buttle. 7-yard touchdown. Pass play, and the Raiders regain the lead.
A chance to look at number 34, Greg Pruitt. He'll be coming out of the backfield from the right-hand side. Now, you can't see him right now. We start the action. You'll be able to see Pruitt swinging out to the right. Now, wait. Stop it right there. Now, Pruitt's still out. Go ahead. Pruitt's still out. Now you'll see him right there on the edge of your screen. He had driven to the inside and faked. Broke back to the outside. Excellent play by Greg Pruitt.
And Chris Barr tacks on the extra point. So the Raiders back in command. 3:09 remaining. Third quarter. It's the Raiders 14, the Jets 10. To kick away to George Floyd, back deep for the first time, along with Darrell Brown. And Floyd plays the hop to the 10. 20. Out near the 25-yard line, spun around and dumped by Derek Jensen.
Marv, on that last play, you'll get a chance to see Buttle twice as he tries to get out to cover Pruitt. Now, it looks like Mark Wilson may have called an audible. You see him here. There's Buttle driving to the outside 51. Now, he picks up his man, Pruitt, who's coming inside, but Pruitt faked him out and stepped back. Buttle was late making the adjustment, and you see his disgust as the veteran is beaten for the touchdown. And we'll be right back.
For the first time, following the excellent drive engineered earlier this third quarter by Pat Ryan. Jets first down at their 24-yard line. Johnny Hector. Bill Piquel on the stop. Marcus Allen, who is sitting it out because of a bruised shoulder, and a close personal friend of Merlin.
I've seen that other guy. That's Rockford.
Yes.
Yeah, James Garner on the sideline there. A dedicated Raider fan. Spends a lot of time with this team, enjoys watching him work. I talked to Marcus about not playing tonight. He said, I want to be out there. He really hasn't had much playing time in the preseason, and barring that injury to his shoulder, probably would have gone 3 quarters tonight. So he's not terribly happy about being on that sideline.
Jets have a 2nd and 5. Marion Barber now, the lone setback for the Jets. And here is O'Brien. And O'Brien can't find anyone and just throws it away. And Raiders complaining, yes.
I believe he was over the line. I think he threw an illegal pass. Looked to me like he was very close to the line of scrimmage when he popped that one into the air. Awfully tough. Awfully tough.
He was beyond the line when he threw the ball. 5
Chance
yards
to watch that. Now the line of scrimmage, roughly the,
5 yards.
well, the 26-yard line. And we'll get a chance to look at it as we get going. All right, stop it right there. Right there. You see where his feet are? Right here. And the official dictating that he was indeed over the line of scrimmage throwing an illegal pass.
One of the raps against the inexperienced Ken O'Brien has been that he's been holding the ball too long, holding on too long, and he has got to be a little gun shy. He's been sacked 18 times over the first 3 preseason games.
There's some NFL teams that shoot at giving up 18 sacks in a season.
Marion Barber. Good move to the outside for the first down. Kenny Hill bumping him out.
Marv, let's talk for a second about O'Brien, though. Maybe this is a break. He's had so much pressure. The announcement he was the starting quarterback and the pressure that's come with all those sacks with the offensive, inoffensive Jet offense of the first 3 games. Maybe coming in here tonight, he hasn't been in practice. He's been somewhere else. They just said go out there and play. Maybe he's going to be able to relax and shake some of that loose.
Ken O'Brien did miss practice all week in order to testify regarding that alleged brawl at a Manhattan discotheque last year. He and Mark Gastineau involved in testifying in court. So they arrived after the club, arrived here late last night. Pass intended for the rookie from Miami, Glenn Dennison.
One of the problems that you'll always have with a young quarterback, especially a strong-armed quarterback, and O'Brien has a gun. He really can throw the football. He wants to get that football there in a hurry. And you can't throw the football too hard to catch. You got to give that receiver a chance. Dennison had that ball just rifle off of his hands. The ball did not need to be thrown that hard.
2nd and 10 from the 35-yard line. And the handoff to Barber. Tony Caldwell on the stop. What about the jump from Division II football for Ken O'Brien into the NFL? This is a guy who was selected by the Jets in front of Dan Marino.
I've got to believe that it's probably more difficult for a quarterback than just about any other position, because so many of the big schools, so many of the Division I schools, especially the power football schools, play very sophisticated offenses, and they play sophisticated competition and sophisticated defenses. Now, if you don't have that kind of training, it takes longer to pick it up. And it's difficult for a quarterback anyway, even a quarterback out of good competition coming into the NFL.
O'Brien out of California Davis. Tony Page right near the first down marker.
You saw Freeman McNeil on the sideline earlier. There's number 42, Bruce Harper. And believe me, those two make a very productive duo when they are in the ball game or separately in the game. Harper's 83 stats there as a rusher and receiver, and they miss him. He misses being in there. He likes to play. Not very big, and certainly has taken his shots over the years, but boy, he is exciting to watch.
Harper, an all-purpose running back, and he's sitting out with a bad shoulder, but he'll be ready for the Colts opening day a week from Sunday. Jets short of the first down. We're down to 40 seconds left.
Going for
third quarter.
They got it.
So Page picks it up. LA Raiders leading the New York Jets 14-10 after a ho-hum first half. Good action here.
Both teams playing much better, and I'm sure part of that what went on at the half, but also we're getting a lot of those rookies into the game who know that they're getting a final look, or perhaps maybe in competition with another rookie to make this roster. And action is heating up, as you said.
All right, here's O'Brien. Good toss through the middle to Glenn Dennison. Darrell Byrd on the stop. Dennison, the rookie from Miami by way of Beaver Falls, which also happens to be the hometown of head coach Joe Walton, and a fellow by the name of Joe Willie Namath. Third quarter has concluded. We'll be back after these messages.
Problems, missed a lot of playing time, but they say he's going to be a real player.
And the fourth quarter underway. Jets first down at the Raider 44. You saw Gaffney in motion and O'Brien floating one out. Jeff Barnes covering Marion Barber, the intended receiver. The Jet offensive line remaining at left tackle with Reggie McElroy filling in for the injured Chris Ward. Jim Sweeney is at the left guard position. Guy Bingham now at center for Joe Fields. Ted Banker has hung in. He's filling in for Dan Alexander at right guard.
Oh, rookie, huh?
Second and 10 at the 44. And O'Brien throwing sideline. Ted Watts on the coverage. Preston Brown, the intended receiver. So Preston Brown now at a wide receiver position. There's Ted Watts, fourth year out of Texas Tech. Raiders #1 draft pick back in 1981.
Preston Brown, number 89, using some of his speed. Came in late last season and has had a chance to run a few kicks, getting some playing time, partly because of the injury to Lamb Jones and the holdout of Wesley Walker. I'd love to have those two here tonight.
O'Brien 1 for 4 thus far. Penalty flag thrown. This is Barber in the open field. So Marion Barber on a dump off gets inside the 15, but let's check out the flag. A 30-yard pickup.
And you see the holding signal being given. O'Brien doing some scrambling back there.
Holding number 63.
So the hold on Ted Banker, the right guard. First-year man out of Southeast Missouri who spent all of last year on injured reserve.
Here's Banker. He's the man who's called for the hold right there. Get a chance to see that quickly. You'll also get a chance to see O'Brien doing a little moving back there. Moves off to his left, sees a little opening there. There's Barber right there. Get a chance to see him. He's all by himself waving his arms. He said, hey, get it over here. And of course it's there and he does a good job with it.
This is a 3rd and 20 and O'Brien underthrew Otis McKinney on the interception. That's not the pass O'Brien was looking to throw.
It wasn't. Of course, we have to say, too, that that last pass was nullified by the holding penalty. He would like to have gotten it to Humphrey deep. Unfortunately, Otis McKinney was there to short hop it, as it was indeed underthrown. But you look at the yardage on that play, it's almost the equivalent of a punt, Marv, and I don't think that's what they had in mind. Little slip there in that loose turf, but certainly had that ball been thrown long enough, he would have had a chance at it, and McKinney might not have ended up with it in his grasp.
So a minute gone by in this fourth quarter. Raiders leading the Jets 14-10. Mark Wilson in at quarterback. Jim Plunkett went the first half. Raiders have done a lot of shuffling, as have the Jets now defensively. Here's Joe McCall. And the fans responding to McCall, who had that 50-yard run in the third quarter, which led to the Raider touchdown.
Dave Dalby looking on from the sideline, and he's watching an interesting experiment. Number 72, Don Mosbar, has moved in at his center position. Of course, the Raiders would love to see that young man, who's such a promising guard, also be able to double as a center. But Dalby's been the durable and valid center for this Raider team for a long, long while. And he'll be in the starting lineup next week. You better believe it.
9-yard pickup, 2nd and 1. And it's McCall again. And he has the first down. So Joe McCall has had himself a very impressive stint coming on in the third quarter. We talked about McCall with head coach Tom Flores. And we'll get to that a little bit later on. Big build-up for Tom Flores, who was standing by.
Tom was waiting. He was busy talking to someone on the sideline and asked us if we could hold off a play.
All right, first down at the 34-yard line. Wilson is sacked. Lance Mel getting to the quarterback. Now Tom tells us he's ready. We asked him about the rookie, Joe McCall.
Joe McCall is a hard-working back, a good blocker, a slashing-type runner, learning to be a receiver, and he has got a chance because we like his toughness and the way that he approaches the game, the way he plays on game day.
Joe McCall had a big senior year at Pitt, including a 246-yard game against the Cadets of Army, and doing very well here in the second half. Wilson going incomplete, intended for Dokie Williams. Harry Hamilton, the rookie from Penn State, on the coverage. And the Jets secondary now has Floyd and Mullen at the corners. That's Davlin Mullen and George Floyd. Darrell Ray remaining at free safety, and Harry Hamilton at the strong safety position. Rusty Gilbo is at the outside linebacker spot. John Woodring and Lance Mell still in there. Rusty Gilbo is a defensive lineman, is getting a shot as a A.J. Dewey type linebacker.
Well, he's dropped 30 pounds from his weight last year to try and play that linebacking position.
Third and very long. And Wilson completes to Williams. Nice move by Dokie Williams. Out to the 38-yard line. A 16-yard pass play. Floyd on the tackle, but short of the first down.
Dokie's showing you some of his quickness. We'll go back upstairs and take a quick look at it. Dokie Williams, to give you a little bit of an idea of how fast he is. Let's take a quick look at him as he gets downfield. Go ahead and run it, fellas, and let's see what we can see here. Wilson taking a lot of pressure. He'll get the pass off here shortly. There it is, right to Dokie, and you see how quickly he's going the other direction. Got two defenders there on that side. He went back the other way.
And the punt by Ray Guy. Davlin Mullen with heavy traffic. The punt coverage by the Raiders has been excellent throughout the game. A 47-yard punt, a 5-yard return. A timeout is called. 11:37 left, fourth quarter.
Folks scrambling for their encyclopedias, sports encyclopedias already, Marv.
We will have the answer shortly. Jets first down at their 20-yard line. And this is Tony Page.
Tony Page, the ball carrier. Stopped at the 23.
Bill Pickell, second-year man from Rutgers, on the stop. It's Pickell, Jones, that's Sean Jones from Northeastern, and Mitch Willis, a rookie from SMU, up front now for the Raiders. 2nd and 7 coming up at the Jet 23. Harold Carmichael comes to the near side. The running backs are Barber and Page. That's Sohn in motion. And this is Barber trying to turn it. Good acceleration by Marion Barber. Stacy Turan on the stop. Well, as they bring out the yardsticks, I think we'll reveal the answer.
Well, let's quick look again. What person has the longest consecutive game streak, at least one pass reception? He's here tonight. In fact, he's on the field right now. He's at the other end of this Ron Jaworski pass. Right there, number 17, Harold Carmichael. And here he is, live action.
And he went 127 consecutive games with at least one catch, an NFL record. Marion Barber. So Barber at the first down marker. An illustrious career with the Philadelphia Eagles. Harold Carmichael.
They did not make the first down, as you see the offense, including Carmichael, heading to the sideline.
And
oh, wait a minute, a little.
yes, some confusion.
I don't know what's going on. It looked like they were lined up to go. Ramsey and Leahy sharing honor. That's another trivia question for you.
Ramsey.
Talk about that, but the two of them have done something quite unusual in the NFL.
And they were able to come through a very mild kicking battle in training camp. Pruitt, good coverage by the Jets, led by Guy Bingham. And so the Raiders to the offense. 42-yard punt by Ramsey. We have 10 minutes left in this fourth quarter. The Raiders lead the Jets 14-10.
And Ramsey and Leahy, we mentioned, had shared an interesting honor. They've been together 8 years. That's the longest duo, kicker and punter, staying together in the NFL.
And Mark Wilson trying to avoid the rush and did. Joe McCall fumbling.
I believe they're going to call it jet ball. Yes, they are. They stole that one. Now Baldwin is down there, number 95. Good hit. Joe McCall just let that ball roll away. We'll go back and take another look at it. You see Mark Wilson. Just a quick toss right here. Little circle pattern out of the backfield. I believe McCall is actually the safety receiver. Now watch the end of the play. He just gets stripped of that ball right there, and it's a battle for it. Looked like he had his hands on it, but he didn't get a chance to take it back. Good defensive play, and the Jets have a chance to score here.
Lance Mel stripping Joe McCall. Just under 10 remaining fourth quarter, so the Jets take over on the Raider 39. Ken O'Brien looking to throw long. Beautiful catch.
Got him.
Derek Gaffney with the leaping catch in front of Stacy Turan. A 29-yard pass play down to the 10-yard line.
That's the kind of pass that arm strength is important on. You've got to thread it between the defenders. Gaffney has the kind of soft hands that can bring in a rifle shot like that. It makes for a good combination here. Long, tight spiral, really a kind of a straight rope, and Gaffney pulls it down in spite of a good hit by Stacy Turan, number 30.
Marion Barber, the lone deep back. It's a first and goal. Here's Barber. Excellent pursuit by Darrell Bird from the inside linebacker position.
Darrell Bird, number 54. We mentioned that he is the third of those inside linebackers. Nelson, Millen, and Bird. You'll see Bird coming into the right side of your screen. Watch him now. Marion Barber trying to run to the outside, and Bird showing us good speed, comes from behind and strips him to the ground.
Loss of about a yard. 2nd and 11. And here's O'Brien. And let's see, they call it incomplete. It's ruled incomplete. So they'll bring it back. Kenny Hill, perhaps within the grasp. Let's see if they call it.
I think they're going to call it an incomplete pass. It looked to me, there's no question his arm started forward. The question would be whether that ball actually went forward. Now, if the ball does not go forward, it could be called a lateral pass or a backward pass. Look for yourselves. No question, he gets out of the grasp here, starts the arm forward. The ball literally slips out of his hand. Maybe we can get it from the sky cam. Let's see. Yeah. I think might have gone backwards. It's hard to call. I'd give the official a chance to do it from closer to the ball. He certainly was right on top of it, but that's a bad break for O'Brien.
It is a 3rd and goal at the 11. And O'Brien throwing end zone, overthrows Marion Barber. Otis McKinney on the coverage.
O'Brien dusting himself off, getting tremendous pressure. And one of the things that happened to O'Brien early is he was victimized by an off.
Hit from 45 yards away, looking to bring the Jets within one, a 29-yard attempt, and he has it. So Leahy is 2 for 2. And with 8 minutes and 20 seconds left in this fourth quarter, the Raiders now lead the Jets by the score of 14-13. Another look from the sky cam. The Leahy field goal right through. He will be wearing a protective shield, and he will be ready for the opener against the Colts next week. This is Sam Seal, who has speed. Seal, the rookie from Western State, 8th round draft pick. That's Western State College in Colorado. Sam Seal, born in Barbados, West Indies, now living in Orange, New Jersey. 5'9", 175 pounds, a converted tailback, and had some difficulty catching the ball earlier in preseason, but has come on recently.
They said he had great speed, and they worked with him. He had a hard time getting his hands on it, but one of the good things about this Raider staff, and so many of the pro staffs now are doing a better job of teaching. At one time, there wasn't much of that at the professional level.
Here's McCall. Could not make the turn. Davlin Mullen coming up from cornerback. And it's a loss of 1 on the play. It'll be a 2nd down and 11 at the 23-yard line. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited. Trouble with the snap, and McCall on the slant picks up short yardage. Rusty Gilbo making the stop. 7:20 remaining in the 4th quarter. Raiders lead it 14-13. And a 3rd down play coming up. A very quiet first half. Plunkett hitting Dokie Williams for the only score. Good 3rd quarter. Pat Ryan had that one excellent drive, and the Jets got back into the game. And over the middle, intended for Derek Jensen, one of 5 tight ends on the roster. So the punting unit has come on, and Ray Guy, who has had himself a workout, checks back in.
I don't think Ray needed quite this much work. I talked to him earlier, and he's been such a great kicker for so long, and I said, can you tell any difference in your leg at this point in your career? And he said, I think the strength is still as good as ever, but he said, I've had trouble with the extension, and I've had to work harder at stretching out those muscles. He also spent a lot of time working in a strength program to help his leg and his lower back. Has had some back problems, but feels very strong now.
And Guy from his 15. This is Davlin Mullen at the 35. And again, the good coverage by the Raiders, led by Darrell Byrd. A 40-yard punt for Guy. And the Jets in possession on their 37-yard line. Well, the Zurich Sports World coming up this Sunday. Harold Carmichael with his first catch of the day.
Night of firsts, and Harold is glad to have gathered that one in, and that's a play that he certainly used effectively. Ron Jaworski threw him a lot of balls in the last few years and over his career in Philadelphia.
9-yard pass play, 2nd and 1. Jets at their 46, 6:15 left in this 4th quarter. That's Sohn peeling off to the right. Tony Page, and he has the first down. Darrell Byrd on the tackle. Raiders taking a 7-0 lead on the touchdown pass. Plunkett to Williams. 45-yard field goal by Pat Leahy, who has had a good night. And then it was Ryan to Hector. Then Pruitt on the 7-yard reception. That was set up by the 50-yard run by the rookie Joe McCall. And Leahy from 28 yards, bringing us to the 14-13 score with 5.5 left in this 4th quarter. And again, O'Brien keeps it on the ground. Matt Millen with a hit on Marion Barber.
That hole just literally closed with black shirted bodies. Like there were about 5 on top of it. A quick look at it from above. It looked like they read the play. You see the linebacker here stunning up into the hole. Often they'll do that just to create havoc. But that's Millen right there. And you saw how he jumped back at the last second and positioned himself right in the middle of the hole that he wanted to run into. Excellent job by the defense. And that's quite a view from upstairs.
2nd and 10 at midfield. And O'Brien looked right, had nothing, and runs it out. Followed by Bill Pickell. Picked up 5 on the play.
Got to be a continuing learning experience. See Gastineau doing some teaching of his own over there. That's Pellegrini, Joe Pellegrini, who's switched from offense over to defense, and he's giving him a few tips on the pass rush now. He's saying, hey, you got to reach out and get a hold of that guy and jerk him now. Drive off the outside shoulder. Pellegrini, I think, I don't know whether he's listening to all this or, oh, there, I got it. That's the used to be a head slap. Can't hit the helmet anymore, so you hit the shoulder.
It's a 3rd and 5. And O'Brien able to complete. The tight end, Glenn Dennison, has the first down. Stacy Turan, the rookie from Notre Dame, on the tackle. 15-yard pass play.
Still plenty of time for the Jets to get down and put some score on the board. All they need is 3 to go ahead. That was an excellent pass, and that's the kind that a strong-arm quarterback can deliver so well, because that has to be thrown on a straight line. He did a good job, and it was a good job of breaking open by Dennison.
Pat Leahy has hit 2 for 2 from 45 and from 28. Marion Barber has been getting a workout here in the second half.
I mentioned earlier that the 2 kickers for the Jets have been together 8 years, and that's the most of any current set of kickers in the NFL. I'm sure there have been kickers in the past, perhaps, who've stayed together longer, but no 2 kickers in the NFL. It's been musical kickers all around the league the past few years. These 2 have been together 8 years.
And there was a slight challenge from a couple of rookies, Jeff Davis and Brett Wright.
Both cut last week. Walton said he wanted to have these guys know that they had the job going into the season.
2nd and 6. And O'Brien, nice diving catch for the first down. Glenn Dennison trying to get up and run. Kenny Hill on the cover of it. It's a 13-yard pass play, and Glenn Dennison, who has led the Jet receivers in preseason, is having a very fine second half.
Of course, that's one of the differences between college and professional football. If you fall down in college football, you're down. In professional football, you're not down unless you've been touched by a defender. And a question there as to whether 48 Kenny Hill really touched Dennison. He realizes that when Kenny Hill comes after him, and he jumped up and ran. Well, that's an interesting play.
3rd catch by Dennison for 25 yards. He has enormous hands. Joe Walton likens Dennison and sees him along the lines of Bob Tucker, who was an outstanding tight end for the Giants and the Vikings. And the Jets on the move. Barber again on a slant inside the 10.
Marv, this has been a pretty impressive second half for this Jet offense. Banged up as they are, they have played well.
Back to the baseball scoreboard. Angels leading the Tigers in nearby Anaheim. Blue Jays over the Twins 6-2. Timeout has been called on the field. That's the first of a twilight of the Giants over the Mets. And the second game, Giants looking for a sweep. And the Cubs did win earlier, so the Cubs picking up ground. First of 2 here. Montreal beating San Diego 4-1. And in the second game, final score, Padres win it, get a split. And there's that Cub final, the blank over the Braves. So the Cubs right now at least 5 in front. Could have the evening 5.5 over the Mets. Phillies beat the Dodgers 6-5. Timeout has been called. We're 2 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. And the Jets driving for a score, trailing by 1, 14-13. And Joe Walton, for the first time this season, can be pleased about what he has seen from his quarterbacks, both Ryan and O'Brien.
I certainly have to agree. As you see Kurt Sohn going in, Walton's been sending in the plays with those wide receivers all night to help both these young quarterbacks. And of course, we have to say too that the Raiders have employed an awful lot of their second line people, but those are quality players, and there are a number of first line players out there too. Pretty even battle, I'd say, with a number of injuries to this Jet offense.
And it's been a long drive by the Jets. 9th play of the drive coming up.
O'Brien handling himself very well tonight.
3 for 3 within this drive. And here is O'Brien. Nice play. O'Brien completing to Rocky Cleaver. at the first down marker. Stacy Curran on the stop. Well, they pick up the first down.
It looked like Tom Coombs and Cleaver were running right together. Coombs was open and in the end zone. Cleaver reached up, took the ball away from him. Had it gone through, I think it might have been a touchdown. Little bootleg action here. Otis McKinney, 23, read it, came up quickly. But there you see the two receivers. Cleaver reaching up and grabbing it. I think if Coombs had gotten his hands on it, would have been a touchdown.
Our 2-minute warning. We'll be right back. Have an opportunity to overtake the Raiders in their final preseason game. Here's Tony Page, and he's stopped. Tony Page, the rookie from Virginia Tech, stopped on the play. And now
you wonder why the Raiders are calling timeout. They're looking at that clock, and they're almost assured that there are going to be some points scored, either a field goal or a touchdown. The Raiders want some time of their own to come back. You see Millen coming to the sideline. Talk about what defenses are going to be called out there. But the Raiders, concerned about the amount of time on the clock, want to save as much as they can for their offense that will be going back on the field.
And while we have an opportunity here, let me mention the executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of NBC's football is Ted Nathanson. Tonight's game produced by Larry Cirillo and directed by Ted Nathanson. Our technical director, Bill Tobey. Associate director, Ray Benassi. Associate producer, Jeff Hyams. And feature producers, John J. Filippelli and Tom Roy. Also, thanks so much to the folks here in the booth. Statistician Joe Costanza, our spotters, Shep Goldberg, Larry Eldridge, and helping in the booth, Dennis Minishian.
It's heating up in the trenches.
2nd and 1. 2nd and goal, and the touchdown for Johnny Hector. Johnny Hector has put the Jets on top with 1:47 remaining in this fourth quarter.
Two interesting angles. First, to watch the surge from the side as you see the Jets offensive line driving some of those black-shirted defenders out, although they weren't winning all the battles. And Hector up and over. You only have to break that line. After the kick, we'll come back and show you what it looks like from straight above.
And here is Leahy attempting the extra point. So Pat Leahy has given the Jets a 20-14 lead. A well-run drive by Ken O'Brien.
Look at the line of scrimmage now. Watch as we turn the action loose. Let's see who wins the battle on the line of scrimmage between these two teams. You see where they're going. They're going over behind Bingham, over to the right side, and there goes Hector. And look how they drove those defenders all the way into the end zone. A unique shot of Johnny Hector as he just threw himself over the top. Again, that final shot, and we showed it to you once before, and I think you can appreciate it more having seen it from the top, and the kind of blocking you have to get that play into the end zone and score the touchdown.
And for Ken O'Brien, easily his best stint of the preseason.
We talked about it earlier. Maybe this was a break for him to take some of the pressure off, some of the heat. He came in having looked at a game plan, but not having practiced. Having talked to Walton for the first time last night, his plane didn't get in here till 11 o'clock. Maybe we don't let this guy practice. Yeah. Maybe Walton's trick will be to keep him out of practice, just send him into the ballgame.
No truth to the report that Joe Walton will have Kenny O'Brien down at criminal court during the course of the regular season.
No, I think perhaps playing well tonight will be the best gratification for him out of this whole situation.
This is Clay Montgomery to the 10, 20. Montgomery out near the 25-yard line. 1:41 remaining in the fourth quarter. 29-yard return. And the Jet drive consuming just under 5 minutes. 11 plays, 62 yards, capped off by Johnny Hector gunning it in. And the Jets lead it 20-14.
We talked about simulating game situations that you'll face during the season. The Raiders are doing that right now. They have a history of coming back to win the close games. They've got 1:41. Wilson at the controls. Let's see what they do.
And the big rush. So Wilson sacked by Bobby Bell. Bell, the rookie from Missouri, a 4th-round draft pick, getting to the quarterback.
Tremendous pressure on Mark Wilson. Did not have time to find the open receivers downfield. Had to throw the ball away. Actually ended up throwing the ball on the ground. Incompleted pass. 2nd down.
Sam Seal, Dokie Williams, Clay Montgomery are the wide receivers. 2nd and long. Again, Wilson just did get it away. Intended for Derek Jensen, the tight end. George Floyd hurtling himself after that loose football. Minute 29 remaining 4th quarter.
Very close to being in the grass. They're running stunts in there on that play. John Autry, number 97, the man who was right there on top of him, looked like he had a hold of Wilson's jersey as Wilson just fired the ball out of there. Chance perhaps at an interception had that ball been a little bit higher.
3rd down play upcoming. Wilson just did get it away. Again, the good pressure by the Jets. Dokie Williams, the intended receiver.
Gastineau must be a pretty good teacher. You know who was in there to knock Wilson down? Joe Pellegrini, 62. Working around from left tackle position, went all the way around John Autry, the defensive end. Chance to look at it. Here he is on the left-hand side. He's going to go all the way around and get the quarterback back here. Here he is. You'll see him come back into your picture. He's gone all the way around the defensive end right there. Boy, that's a hard shot.
Minute 23 remaining. 4th down play. And Wilson throwing, and it's picked off. The interception by Darrell Ray. So the Jets take over with 1:13 remaining and looking for their first win of the preseason. Darrell Ray coming up with the interception. A 34-yard return for Ray.
Mark Wilson has thrown 2 prior to tonight. That's his 3rd. I don't think he saw Darrell Ray just hiding back there. Ball very definitely underthrown. Darrell has been a big play defender in the past and didn't come up with those plays last year. Here he comes up with a big play to stop a drive and stop a potential drive, keep his team in the driver's seat.
Pass intended for Clay Montgomery, so the Jets take over at the Raider 13. Marion Barber stumbling. Down to 1:05 remaining is Mark Wilson. In his 5th year out of Brigham Young, Raiders consider him the quarterback of the future, particularly after signing that enormous contract last year, the result of the bidding war with the United States Football League.
He is an excellent young quarterback. You know, 2 really different attitudes on the sidelines from these 2 coaches in this particular game. The Raiders have little to prove to their fans and to NFL fans everywhere about the quality of their team. They know they can win in the regular season. Jets, on the other hand, coming off such a disappointing season and having such a frustrating preseason, really had a much higher priority on winning this game, but I think really did not feel coming in that they could do it. This has to give them a giant lift, and I don't think really does much in the way of negatives for Tom Flores and his team. It will give Flores a lot of ammunition as they sit down to look at the film, because there are a lot of things that people are going to have their heads down in the meetings, believe me.
Marion Barber being helped off, and we'll get another look as you'll see Barber going down, look to stumble.
He may have done, but he may well have a cramp. It's been very hot. You notice how dirty his uniform is. He's been perspiring very freely and running a great deal. He may have cramped up a muscle.
2nd down play for the Jets. 1:04 remaining, and the Jets looking to run out the clock.
It's an awful lot of time to run out. Of course, Raiders have used 2 of their timeouts, so they do not have a lot of time to. They do not have timeouts to stop the clock many more times.
Jets with 2 timeouts left. And the Raiders, as Merlin mentioned, have utilized all their timeouts, so we're down to 35 seconds and a third down play at the Raider 15-yard line. Jets leading at 20-14. A good second half for the New York Jets. And O'Brien just running it down, and that will do it.
Count it out. Walton, Joe Walton, coach of the Jets. You see that? He hasn't had many chances to smile during this preseason. There you saw a flash of a grin. He'll come across and wave at Tom Flores, head for the locker room, and Tom Flores, well, we said it before. He'll have some ammunition to get his troops fired up in the films tomorrow.
Jets finished the preseason at 1-3, as do the Raiders. The Raiders look to the opener next week when it counts, going up against the Houston Oilers, and the Jets look to their season opener against the Colts in Indianapolis a week from Sunday. Join us tomorrow for Major League Baseball, featuring Atlanta and the Chicago Cubs, or the Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies. Check your local listings, and then on Sunday at 3:30 Eastern Time, it's the Cart Pocono 500, featuring Indy winner Rick Mears, also from Budapest and Zurich. Exciting track and field featuring Olympic gold medal winners against some of the top Eastern Bloc athletes. Final score here at the Coliseum: the Jets 20, the Raiders 14. This is Marv Albert along with Merlin Olson saying so long from Los Angeles.